What's up, everybody? Mike Lindsley back with you for an ML Sports Take, brought to you by our great friends over at Welch & Company Jewelers, Stanley Law Offices, and Elevate Fitness of Syracuse. The Buffalo Bills earlier today promoted Ken Dorsey to offensive coordinator to replace Brian Daboll, and this was really the only logical move. I know that there were a lot of things swirling around there, and possibly look at T. Martin, who was the QB coach for the Baltimore Ravens. Just an atrocious offense there, obviously. But again, I know that all the injuries happen and all the rest, but it's nowhere near the offense that the Buffalo Bills have. And this is a guy who Josh Allen was championing for immediately after that heartbreaking loss at Kansas City. He went on all the shows, he addressed the media, etc. Ken Dorsey, he's winning his quarterback in college football history. He's got a great, rapport and bond with the players. Knows the system inside and out. You saw Isaiah McKenzie, who, by the way, is a free agent, and the Bills would be wise to sign him. He's the most important free agent for my money in terms of impact and how the offense moves and shakes and sort of goes with him in motion, jet sweeps, all that stuff in the slot. He can do, play that if you release Cole Beasley and save almost $5 million as well. But Isaiah McKenzie tweeted out, something to the tune of, Ken Dorsey being super intense, and I think there was a fire emoji. So he clearly knows the value that Ken Dorsey brings to the Buffalo Bills. I think there's something to, staying the course and being consistent, not panicking. You had a devastating loss at Kansas City. You spent all offseason last year adding to the pass rush, last couple of years, really, to chase the Kansas City Chiefs. You've drafted Epinesa. You've drafted Boogie Basham. Greg Rousseau. You picked up Efe Obada. Ed Oliver you've kept and hung in there with. You've gone out and gotten these pieces. Obviously, you sign and keep Star Lotulelei. They could have easily cut him to put some room in the bucket for the salary cap. They didn't do any of that. And they didn't do any panic with any of the decisions so far in the offseason here going into 2022. They didn't do any of the panicking. Think about that for a second. They spent the entire offseason planning to try and dethrone the Chiefs. They lose to the Jaguars. Allen slips 1 yard is all he needed. Deion Dawkins got blown up on the left side at Tennessee. They lose that game. If they beat the Jags, they would have hosted against Kansas City. If they had beaten the Titans instead, they would have hosted throughout, and maybe we'd be preparing for the Bills in the Super Bowl. All of those things they still got away with in the regular season because they still went to Kansas City and with 13 seconds left had the lead, and inexcusably awful defense by Sean McDermott and Leslie Frazier playing basically what looked like a prevent, and then Levi Wallace and others going on the outside boundary while Kelsey and Hill, kind of went inside with 2 timeouts, mind you. Chunk yardage, boom. Chunk yardage, boom. Field goal, and then we know the rest is history. But the Bills, they're not panicking after that loss. That's a Sean McDermott trait. That's a Brandon Beane trait. They just promoted within continuity, consistency, chemistry, culture, however you want to call it. This is the right move to promote Ken Dorsey. There was no other option for me and my money unless, Dorsey was plucked by Brian Daboll to go to the New York Football Giants, and maybe they had a conversation or two, and Daboll did try to bring him over. But I'm probably pretty sure that Ken Dorsey told him, I'm good. I got number 17 to work with here, our offense, and we're a Super Bowl contender. You guys still have a lot of work to do. Probably didn't put it in those terms. And trust me, I think Daniel Jones still has to get a fair shake. I mean, he's had a ton of injuries. Offensive line is one of the worst in football, but everything's built right now for Buffalo. I mean, the offensive line this year, we saw towards the end, that 5 from left to right, every guy was huge when they were all playing in there together. Dawkins and Bates and Spencer Brown on the right side, along with Williams, and then Mitch Morse right in the middle. And the offense is there across the board. You've got Diggs coming back, Beasley coming back if they keep him. Gabe Davis is a breakout star currently. Dawson Knox is developing into one of the best tight ends in football. If you're Ken Dorsey, why would you leave that for an injury-plagued, superstar-lacking football team with the New York Football Giants, horrendous offensive line, and still a developing quarterback? when the guy in Western New York is already a freaking superstar. So to me, this is the great move for the Bills. It's the great move for Ken Dorsey. It's the most logical move for all parties. And by the way, if Ken Dorsey was plucked by Brian Dable, then I think you'd have to go out, maybe look at a Matt Nagy, maybe go and look at a Doug Peterson. Look at some guys who've been head coaches, but they're better as coordinators, although Doug Peterson did win a Super Bowl. I think that would have been maybe the most logical sort of look. But as it is now, they don't have to worry about it. Promoted Ken Dorsey, and you keep the train a-chugging, led by number 17. Thanks for watching. It's an ML Sports Take brought to you by Brian Comboy of Mass Mutual, New York State, Welch & Company Jewelers, and our terrific friends over at Camillus Golf Club. You're throughout New York State. You play golf upcoming this summer. Travel to Camillus and play. The 18 holes of unbelievable golf, great competitive holes. The layout's amazing. The greens are terrific, great views, etc., and awesome food and drink after your round as well. Camillus Golf Club is a proud ML Sports Platter sponsor. Also, make sure on this YouTube channel that you hit the like button on all the videos. Hit subscribe to the channel. And by the way, today, huge news for me. I've jumped on board with our friends from Built in Buffalo. They have just done an unbelievable job in a couple-year stretch with their platform built all over social media, all the podcasts, all the teamwork and camaraderie there. Tremendous to be a part of this team. They've added me on as a contributor. You'll hear me on live shows. You'll hear me one podcast a week. And you will also hear me multiple times on YouTube videos and much, much more across their social platforms. Make sure you follow Built in Buffalo on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere they are. It's a great group, awesome organization, and obviously the best fan base in the NFL and the best fan base in sports benefits from their content. So make sure that you do go follow them across all the platforms. I'm Mike Lindsley. Thanks for watching. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.